You might recall the time when I took Kevin up to a peak in Wales, Mount Snowdon. It wasn't clever and it certainly wasn't pretty. But how did this budget £350 bike deal with the conditions coming down off that mountain? Well, today it's time to reveal if you do actually get what you pay for. So what is the difference between a budget bike and a super bike? Well, first of all, what is a super bike? Is it one that costs more money? Definitely not. Is it one that's got the best paint job? No, but it definitely matters. Is it one that's got more travel and more gears? You're kidding me, right? Is it one that's made out of alloy, more carbon, more steel? No. What makes a super bike is it strikes that great balance between flex and stiffness with great geometry. A super bike feels good. A super e-bike, on the other hand, is much more. Not only will it feel good, it will deliver excellent performance and have a good battery range. It'll also have a very efficient motor and definitely some good software, and maybe offer the option of giving the output between the rider and the bike via a display. The frame of the bike will have both excellent and correct sizing for a range of rider heights, and as I mentioned earlier, it will deliver a superb flex to stiffness balance matched with a superb suspension design, which on the trail will give the rider a fatigue-free ride, and also the dynamic geometry will give support, balance and stability when you're on the hoof. The componentry on the bike will be up for the type of riding the bike is designed for. Remember, if you're doing some tough climbs, those tyres will definitely need to have some bite. The shock absorber will have great parity between it and the suspension design. It'll certainly have a seat dropper. No doubt it'll have a tough wheel set because of the increased weight of an e-bike, and it'll definitely have a hydraulic brake set. Now, this bike, on the other hand, has none of the attributes of that bike. Not only does it have inadequate tyres and pitiful geometry, it has a front suspension which will probably hurt you more than cushion you when you're on the trail. However, a bike like this certainly will not hurt your pocket, not for £350. And you know what? On some climbs, that bike might actually be quicker than some £8,000 boutique mountain bikes. If you look at the off-road performance of even a mid-price mountain bike of, £2,000 to £3,000, I know it's going to cost you that much more money, but its performance is going to be way superior to this utter hunk of junk. Now, if you remember, I had the extreme displeasure of taking this very bike up Wales' highest mountain, Mount Snowdon. And you know what? On the way up, we did actually pass a load of riders on conventional bikes carrying their bikes up Snowdon. So it was a challenge, it was tough, but when I got to the top, the views were spectacular. Now, what we didn't do on that trip was show the return journey down, which was probably a good thing. So today then we're going to address that. We're going to actually go super bike versus budget bike on a range of challenges, up, along, across and down, to see how they stack up. Right, so first test is the weigh-in. Yeah, do you know what? I don't even need to put it on the scales because this bike is actually lighter than the Canyon Spectral. Second up, acceleration test. Now, as you can see, Kevin, as this bike is affectionately known, has got 3 power modes. It's got low, medium and high. So I'm going to stick it in high. I'm going to do this first acceleration test. 3, 2, 1, go! Wow, the power actually is quite surprising. Oh my God. Stop. It's actually pretty good. I don't actually think this bike is restricted because it seems to just keep on going. And I think this bike, compared to a conventional bike, because it was on a little bit of a gradient, would definitely be faster. Now the Canyon Spectral on, I'm going to be riding this in boost mode. 3, 2, 1, go! So why then was Kevin a little bit faster on the first acceleration test? Well, lots of factors. Let's not forget that Kevin is a hardtail, so the power transfer to the rear tyre and to the ground is going to be a lot more efficient than the Canyon Spectral on, which has got 150mm travel. Not only that, you have a look at the tyres on Kevin. You've got skinny, low profile tyres compared to the Canyon, which has not only got bigger volume 2.8 tyres, it's also got super tacky rubber on there too. But more than that, I've got a sneaky feeling that Kevin is actually not restricted. Now for the second test, we're looking at a gentle hill climb, gentle fire hill climb, the type you'll find in any mountain bike centre. And we're joined by Chris Harris, who's got his conventional Norca mountain bike here. Got a sneaky feeling this bike is actually pretty quick. Chris, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
You ready to go?
Absolutely.
3, 2, 1, go! Ooh. You okay? This bike is ridiculous. Three, 2, 1, go! Wow, needs to be up to 30 kilometers an hour. So this is basically on me. Wow, it's really kind of Chris to put himself head to head for that little fire road climb there. Kevin did outstandingly well, as you can see, between myself and a conventional mountain bike. Now, when I moved on to the Canyon, it was notably different. I could feel the drag on the tyres, but not only that, I was instantly up to 25 kilometers an hour on this type of gradient, which meant that I was actually pedaling beyond the assistance of the bike. So trying to keep at 30 kilometers an hour up that hill, it was actually quite difficult. So I'm interested to know what the times are, because my gut feeling is that Kevin was marginally quicker. Wow, well, after such an extraordinary start by Kevin, I think he needs to take a breather. Now, in as much as those first two challenges were a good test, they were the kind of terrain which you'd ride on a conventional mountain bike. And as I pointed out, you probably wouldn't be sprinting up little gradients like that. However, let's move things on to something all more e-mountain bike and a serious hill climb challenge, which you'd probably push or carry your conventional bike up. So again, head to head, you can see the camera up there. Let's put these bikes to the test. Okay, for this test, it's a static start up a gradient, which I would say is about between 20 to 30%. So as I said, this is proper e-bike territory. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa. Wow, so technique is also important on a hill like this. Pretty steep, but the old canyon is straight up. Okay, next up we've got Kevin, and Kevin's in high power mode, easiest gear. You gonna count me in, Brandon? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's pretty much all my own effort. What? I guess that is what differentiates an e-mountain bike from a budget hunker junk.
Time's still going.
Brandon, honestly, can't be bothered. I mean, those days have gone long ago. Have I really got to push that bike up the hill? Really? Oh. So one gigantic step ahead there for the canyon, but one step too far maybe for poor old Kevin, who simply could not get anywhere near the break of slope on that challenge. So what are the reasons then why this bike was so bad on that particular challenge? Well, one reason could be because, as you can see on the canyon, it's got a far lower range of gears than this bike has, but there's more to it than that. And that's simply because mid-drive bikes are way more effective and efficient on hill climbs than a hub drive bike, which has only got one ratio. So obviously you're going to be riding these e-bikes in mountains, and some of the times you're going to be encountering super steep descents. So good brakes are key when it comes to this. So this test is a braking test, freewheel from here to that tree, and then anchors on, and we're going to measure the shortest distance wins. Ooh. Bit of skidding, I probably wouldn't have passed my car test, but nevertheless, as you can see, pretty short distance. Okay, so we're going to measure from the front axle. Should we measure in yards or feet or meters, Brandon? Yards, let's call it yards. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a bit yards from start to finish. I hit the brakes bang on because the back wheel engages the minute that I hit that marker. So it's a totally fair test there. Next step, I'm gonna get on Kevin. Oh, ready? I'm not. Okay, here we go. Slightly apprehensive, I will say. Oh, there goes the holiday. So there you go. I don't think we even need to measure that, do we? Twice the distance, 3 times the distance, yeah. Probably almost 4 times the distance. I will measure it just in case. So we had 6 yards, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24. So they're 4 times less efficient than the Canyon bike. Obviously the Canyon has got super tacky tires, really aggressive tires, whereas this bike has got really low profile skinny tires. But it's not just that, it's the fact that there's simply no power in these brakes. Not only they're not non-hydraulic, they're got smaller rotors on there. I think they're probably about 120mm rotors front and rear. And this all comes to show why a super bike really is a super bike. It's all the fine detail that goes into making it so efficient at riding off-road. Time then to move away from the lame fire road challenges and on some proper mountain biking. We're talking roots, rocks, mud, corners, everything that a true mountain super bike will excel at because of such things as geometry, suspension, tires, and all those components which makes these bikes faster across the ground. But maybe let's not believe the hype. Let's get the clock out to see what it says. Go! Kevin goes off. Oh my God. Oh, no brakes. Comedy. Well, that didn't go so good. First thing, no brakes in the first corner. And then the front suspension was pretty much a spring rather than any damping. That was a truly sketchy experience. Are you ready? Are you steady? Go! Much more grip, much more comfort, much more control in those corners. And remember, this is just a bit of flat single track. Interesting. I know what I'd prefer to ride, but what do the times tell us, Brandon? Okay, so the canyon is faster by 4 seconds over a 15-second Kevin time track. So you can imagine how much that will multiply when you've got not only a 4 to 5 minute track, but a descent off a mountain. And that is why these bikes are super bikes and not budget bikes. However, let's get on to the true test, the downhill. We're just doing a long transfer across to the downhill stage, and what's really quite struck me is how good this bike is on flatter terrain. So this smoothish single track, all Kevin is doing really well, so I wouldn't knock it. And if you're riding this type of terrain, it's a good bike to get. And so to the final test, the downhill section, and the piece that I've been dreading and fearing most of all day, because I know that every impact that that front tyre and fork will have, it'll be transferred all the way through my body. Not only that, there will probably be very little grip, very little stability. And the time, well, let's just go and find out. Probably goggles on, because it's going to be so fast down here. Okay, let's go then. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Oh God, oh my God, oh my God, the battery's gone. Oh my God. Oh, so that bike, did you hear the rattling all the way down there? The battery actually fell out. Oh God. Well, that's probably saved me, if anything. Will it go back in though? That's the question. Oh, it does go back in. Right, should we do that run again? Run 2. Come on, Kevin, you can do better than this. Right, 3, 2, 1, go! Oh God, it's so rough. It's so rough. Oh, battery's out. What the hell? I mean, I can only go like 20 yards before the battery comes out. What a hunk of Why are you making me do this? Oh, it's no control. All the way down that hill, I've got no stability, no grip, no suspension, and you expect me to go down that bank there? You've got to be joking. I mean, listen to this bike. This bike is 1.5 days old. Listen to it. Listen to it. It's absolutely hideous. Nah, do you know what? I'm going to do it. Got to do it, haven't I? Right. Okay. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, look how fucking steep it is. Oh, that's it. That's it. Get me out of here. Just get me out of here. I don't want to go through that again. That was pathetic.
Got to go and do it on the canyon now.
I can do it on the canyon, but I'm not riding downhill on that bike again. I don't want to be constantly worried about my well-being every meter, foot. Time then for some proper merchandise, a proper mountain bike. It's coming in 3, 2, 1, and roll it. You know what? It's just a joy to ride. I just want to finish this shoot. Let's go back up in the woods for another 5 hours riding those trails. Such a good feeling, honestly. However, could get carried away. Let's go and analyse the times of the last run. Well, we finally managed to get down off the hill on Kevin after numerous battery failures. Well, they weren't battery failures, the battery simply fell out of the bike. And we managed to get down the hill in a time of, it was 7 minutes plus. However, to give the poor little thing a chance, we managed to tape the battery on the frame and put another time in. And the time came in at 3 minutes 31. So, not bad for a £350 bike. Moving on to the canyon. 2 minutes and 4 seconds. A totally different time zone to this poor old bike. And it really does hammer home why this bike is a super bike and this bike is a budget bike. Now, I've got to be fair to this bike. If you're riding smooth fire roads or single track, that bike is a little gem at 350 quid. However, if you are going mountain biking and you are riding really rough single tracks and you want to get up into the mountains and really get off-road, then there is simply nothing to substitute a proper mountain bike, a proper e-bike. So, does it deserve the super bike tag? 100% yes, it does. Now, I've taken Kevin into some pretty spicy situations. If you want to check out the video where I took it up Mount Snowdon, have a look at the video there. If you want to know more about the Canyon Spectralon, then there's this video here to have a look at. Let's know your thoughts on this video, not just about budget versus superbike, but also such things as hub drive versus mid drive. about geometry, about sizing, yeah, just let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget you can like, share and subscribe to EMBN.